Hey, this is Andrew Van Veld from Circle City Audio. We're here at Winimac High School in eastern Pulaski County in lovely northwestern sort of Indiana, kind of middle western, surrounded by a lot of cornfields like most of Indiana. Today we are starting an upgrade of the lighting system in the auditorium here, which is called the Socialtorium. We're pulling out all of the conventional lighting, the big dimmer cabinets. Everything's getting replaced with just regular switched power. That'll all be sequenced with a key and all that kind of stuff. And a couple of cratefuls of LED ellipsoidals and Fresnel fixtures, along with some color bar fixtures that'll replace the overhead color. I'm standing here on stage in full lit. I'm looking at, depending on where I aim, 50 to 60 foot candles. So we're going to compare that once we fully light with the LEDs, just to see what the straight comparison is against the wattage of these conventional fixtures. And there you go.
My name is Patrick Shutro. I'm the director of Winimac Community High School Drama Department. And our program, we basically do a fall play every school year that is a straight show, either a comedy or a drama. And then in the spring, we always do our spring musical. Right now, our spring musical includes about 75 people in it on stage performing. And so with a very large apron stage, we're able to do a lot of big productions. Our concerts are held in the same performance facility for our music department. And so, of course, our lighting needs were something that we definitely needed to expand so that we could cover all of the area on stage. When I first came here 20 years ago, our lighting system consisted of 6 ellipsoid lights total, and then a few Fresnels, and then our actual battens of lights. And of course, we, for 19 years, dealt with light bulbs that could no longer be purchased and bought, outdated outlets that we had to keep making adapters for, so on and so forth. So yeah, we were pretty outdated.
My name is Dan Foster, and I am the superintendent here at Eastern Pulaski Community School Corporation. The lights in here needed some desperate work. They were ancient. They put off a lot of heat, a lot of backfeed noise. It was just time. So I had the pleasure of working with Andrew on a couple other projects at my former school with some sound stuff, and he was one of the two bids that we had quote for the project. And the bids came in fairly close, but it was a no-brainer to me because I had the privilege of working with Andrew, that he's an upstanding guy and runs a very, very good business and would do right by us. So the board did vote to move forward with Circle City Audio.
My name is Troy Wiegand, and I am the main lighting designer technician here at Winimac Community High School for our auditorium. Let's see, our last lighting touch-up was, I think, in 2001, I think. And it was a strand system where it was basically just power and values. So I'd say, I want that, I'd have to type in 25 at 34 or whatever the value I wanted it to be for power. This system, which is extremely graphical and UI heavy compared to what I was used to, and it was going from typing in all of the stuff to, I can just select things and there's colors.
All of us felt like that we were kids in a candy store, because you knew that now you could do this or that or the other that you never had the capabilities to do before. I think that it took what before was fairly standard scenes that you could almost predict what the lighting was going to look like for certain moods, because after 20 years of doing them, there were only so many things that you could do, where now the capabilities are seemingly limitless, because now I can go to a lighting tech and say, this is what I'd like to recreate. I would like to take this mood and use these colors and so on. Here are some ideas, here are some sketches, and instead of saying, okay, here now we know we're going to use all blue or we're going to use all red, which were our only two color selections whatsoever, because the gels didn't work well in any other light fixture that we had.
Couldn't really do much color-wise unless we wanted to gel everything up, and now it's so easy to just, when we need greens, we don't have to gel up a bunch of stuff. We can just tell them to be green, and especially with our lovely rogue spots that we have, that I think every time our drama director and I have a conversation, it ends with, we just want more rogues, because they're so good to just move, to have the ability to point things around so easily, and have the interchangeable gobo allows for us to do a lot more with not as many fixtures.
We didn't have any capability of doing gobos. We didn't have any capability of doing any of that stuff, where now we were able to just see a totally different show. And I know with doing school edition of Les Miserables last year as our spring musical, one of the very first things that the audience all was commenting about the second that the curtain opened was just, you could almost hear a gasp from the audience.
And we had some students who have graduated and come back to see the production, and they were just like, wow, I can't believe. And so we're very excited what it's done.
So many people afterwards said as well that, it looked like a totally different stage. Everything looked totally different than it ever had before. And they knew it was still Winimac stage, but that transition never could have taken place, that transformation, never could have taken place without having the capability of doing so many things with the lights.
We measured earlier with a handy little light meter what our foot candles were on front of stage with the house wash, and we were about 60 foot candles. Now, even with a filter on, I'm at about 100 to 110 foot candles, and we haven't changed the temperature of the room at all.
Again, just the ambience of the theater, of cutting down on the heat, which as the bill-paying person, I look at the dollars and cents and say, okay, that should reduce our cost over time, and the LED lighting you just can't beat it anymore. So I'm very happy to work with Andrew, and if anybody out there would have a question or concern, or as a reference point to say, hey, can you tell me some more about him, I would encourage them to contact us here at Eastern Pulaski Winimac High School.
It's been a great week. The school folks have been great to work with, and it's just a great example of how you really can switch a theater from conventional lighting to LEDs.